You shouldn't answer inquiries or take sales calls asking for their budget. Here's why. First off, you're putting them in a position of power and they get to dictate the price and where you start. You can obviously always negotiate up, but you're giving them the starting point, which is, in my mind, a little bit harder to kind of work with because they've got the ball, they're dictating it and they're starting it. What you also do is people that are unsure of the service or the product, people that are unsure when negotiating, they're gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable with this line of questioning and may even feel slightly intimidated. And the reason they're most likely inquiring is to get a price or a price range to kind of see if it fits within their budget because they most likely haven't done this before. And when it comes down to it, do you really want to start off a long relationship, business relationship with someone when you're starting off with what seems like a hard, tough, tense negotiation, something that they might not be comfortable with? By asking for their budget, you're positioning yourself as a service provider and not as a product, which means that other service providers, other people that they're getting inquiries and quotes from, are also, you're competing with them strictly on price because a service can be negotiated down because the service is the same across the board, whereas a product is a little bit different, and I touch on this a little bit later. Now, if you do ask for their budget and they do give you the true price that they would like to spend, it means that you're customizing to fill in that budget, either to reduce it down or put it up. So just say it's 75% of what you would usually do a shoot for, you're then trying to itemize and line item things and try to cut that down to then meet their budget expectations. And if they're 25 or 30% over, you're also trying to think about how you can kind of add extras to then fill up that budget to then give them what they need. Now, overall, what you do is you end up spending more time talking to these people in the first interaction, more time writing up a proposal, and it really does eat away at time. And if you are in the process of just getting through sales calls to try to get these clients, it can really eat away at it. Now think about this, just say you've got 5 calls or 5 meetings over the entire week, and each of those calls goes for an hour. You've just spent 5 hours on the initial talking to possibly get their budget. Now what you'll end up having to do is spend another 5 hours doing another proposal, putting all that together, customizing things. Now you've spent a whole day out of a whole week, so 1/5 of your week putting together a proposal for something that they might not even be considering, something that might be too expensive for them, and it's really time consuming. And as they say, when time's money, you're just spending a lot of your time. And if you're billing yourself at $400 or $500 a day, you've just spent $500 on quoting and doing proposals for something that you're not sure that they might want to take. Now here's a story that really drives home this point. So he's a builder, and he once told me that when he gets on the phone, he's really specific with telling people what he does. And he basically goes, "Hey, how you going? I build homes between 700,000 and 1.1 million. Now what happens is if they hesitate or they say they want to spend under 700,000, he can move them on, pass them on and be like, "Hey, look, you should go somewhere else. I'm not the builder for you." If they are over the 1.1, he can kind of dig a little bit deeper. But obviously if someone's building a $2 or $3 million home, that doesn't fit into his business model. It might sound like a lot of money, but he knows exactly what he does, what he's good at, and he doesn't want to kind of go over that 1.1 to 1.5 mark because the client is a different type of client and they want a different type of build that doesn't fit in with the architects and the builders and the trades that he has. Now this means that he can cut the conversations and focus on the clients that convert the sales. So he could take multiple calls a day and whittle them down to the people that are actually real and actually dedicate time on courting them, getting them out to site and actually getting them to go through his sales funnel, because he wants to actually wipe out all of the people that are the tire kickers and the people that aren't actually dedicated on it, because this will save him a lot of time. And especially for him, it saves a lot of time because for him, he's not just writing up, it'll cost you 800,000. He's also kind of handing off a couple of plans, looking at their site. He's kind of doing a little bit more work than would be involved in putting out a film or photography proposal. So for him, time is money. So if he can just get through to the people that do matter and that are going to convert, he's going to make more money. So the best way to do this is turn your service into a product. Now, a lot of photographers that do weddings do this. They have a wedding package. They might do a half day or a full day package, but it's a little bit harder for people that might do film. So the idea is that if you can package them up, so just say you're a filmer, you can actually charge a block of time with the expectation of what they can get for that block of time. What you can do is you can then name this block of time and the post-production, whatever they get from it, so that when they are kind of going out and receiving quotes and inquiries from people, everyone's customizing their quote for them. You're going to them and going, here's what I can do, here's how much it costs. So I personally have one offer with add-ons. Now this means I can get through conversations very fast. Like literally within the first 20 seconds, I tell them what I offer, how much it costs, and if it fits in the budget that they're willing to spend. If they hesitate, I'm not afraid to say, hey, it doesn't sound like you're, this will be a fit. I can refer you on to someone else. If they are interested in knowing more, I can then send the cookie cutter response that has the pricing and the details to reiterate what we said on the phone. Now this is really important, really good, because it takes the sales tactic and the sales out of it, and I can teach this to my employees. So the employees that I have, I've taught them the exact same spiel, exactly what to say, so when they get on the phone, they can do the exact same thing. It takes the variable out of the situation, and it lets them also go out and make sales calls and convert sales without having to have sales training. So you may be thinking that you're going to miss out on money, especially if you're kind of productizing something at a $2,000 mark and they're willing to spend $2,500. You're thinking that you're actually going to miss out on 500 of additional margin. Now, what I say is that if you've got a healthy margin on the product that you offer and you stick to it, you're not going to be worried about the additional income because you know exactly what you're going to be offering. You also know exactly what you're going to spend, because that additional 500 that you may have chased, you might have had to spend $600 in extra labor or post-production to actually get it across the line. And the other thing is you can also have these add-ons where you just add on more products or services onto the main base cost to then fill up that margin if you are concerned about missing out on those little extras. Now, all up, this doesn't mean you can't do custom jobs. I do custom jobs, but it means that the very first phone call or meeting that I take, I can instantly tell them what the price point is, what they can expect to get. If they do ask, hey, do you do a custom job? Hey, could you do a little bit longer? Could you do this? It's at that point when I can then weigh up the options and see if they would consider doing it. But you can usually do this after you've seen how they react to the price that you've put out there. Because if you say, hey, I start at $1,000, and they go, oh, can you do something different? You instantly know that they're trying to whittle you down and trying to get that down. Whereas if they're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, actually, I've got this and I want to do it this way. At this point, you can kind of take the reaction of what they've said and try to put that into a custom proposal to put in your base and then use your add-ons as a way to kind of build that up. All up, the idea about productizing your service, giving it a name, giving it a brand, helps you maintain the margin on what you do and make sure that you actually retain that and some control and speed up the process when making these sales calls. I think this approach is really good and helps speed up that first interaction, and it gets you the results that you want sooner. And the results that you want is a qualified customer coming through and wanting to purchase straight away. You will get to a stage where you get what I call lead fatigue, which is when you spend 3, 4, 5 hours on the phone every single day just making calls. And these are inquiries that are coming through. You're making these calls and you just lose the motivation, you lose the energy because you're talking all day and just trying to pivot and negotiate. If you can come in and cut down 5 sales calls to a total of 10 minutes of conversation, you've then saved more time to then go out there and try to find more people to convert, but also get the work done, which is what you want to do. And that's why I find this process really helpful. Now, if you found value from this, please like the video. If you've got any questions about productizing or how it works, leave a comment below and I'll kind of get back to you and answer it the best way that I can from the knowledge that I have. And all up, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.